The world economy has been shaken by Trump's tariffs. Some act like it came out of nowhere, like it's just a nationalist stunt. But in reality, it's payback for a decades-old failure. After the 1940s, the United States emerged as the world's leading economy, and other nations were terrified that if they opened their markets to the US, it would destroy their local industries, which would be incapable of competing with the Americans. So an agreement was made. Other nations would open their markets to the United States, and in return, America would tolerate other nations putting protective tariffs on American goods without retaliation. This was a win-win at first, but it backfired. The decline began with the manufacturing industry. Other nations already offer cheaper labor, and now with the added cost of tariffs, there was no real incentive to keep factories in the US. Far easier to move production abroad, pay less in wages, dodge the tariffs, and sell back to the US market with no consequences. The result was the infamous Rust Belt. States built on the manufacturing industry left hollow. Entire towns gutted. Washington called it progress, but the workers called it betrayal. And as the world caught up and the rise of the internet made outsourcing effortless, the same pattern spread across all industries. The truth is, the old deal enriched America's business elite and pleased consumers, but it crushed American labor. Trump's plan is a direct response: universal 10% tariffs on all imports, plus targeted tariffs and reciprocal tariffs for the nations that exploited the old system. The goals are to revive US industry, bring back jobs and raise wages. The trade-off is higher prices as imports and production costs rise. As a side note, it has been entertaining to watch leftists suddenly rediscover basic economics, realizing that taxing producers through tariffs results in higher prices for consumers. Of course, they still sing "eat the rich" and ignore the fact that by taxing the rich you automatically tax the middle and working classes, for the same reasons. Hypocrisy is a feature, not a bug, of that ideology. Tariffs will also bring in new government revenue. Ideally, that's matched with tax cuts. Otherwise, it'll just be another way in which the US indirectly takes from its own people. Geopolitically, this is a powerful tool. The Americans have the most valuable worldwide markets, so the threat of tariffs gives the US a lot of leverage in negotiations with other nations. Obviously, the most efficient economic situation would be if all nations had zero tariffs, but that's never happening. Nations and their governments may try to claim the moral high ground or victim status, but the bottom line is, they'll each pursue their own agenda, often at each other's expense. The world economy is going to be shaky, and the chances for corruption are high. But if the US handles this appropriately, it could mark a turning point for the nation and the West as a whole.